Welcome to Cook 30. I'm Jeremy Dixon from the Revive Cafes in Auckland, New Zealand, and also author of the Revive Cafe cookbooks. And today I'm going to share with you some delicious cafe quality meals that you can cook at home. Cook 30 food is all about using whole grains, plant-based proteins. We're going to be using fresh fruit and vegetables and wrapping it all together with exciting international herbs and spices. And the best part, it won't take you hours in the kitchen. All these recipes are lovely and simple and easy to learn, and I hope you can learn how to make them today on Cook 30. On the menu today we have a pasta and salad combo. We have arrabbiata, an Italian penne pasta. We're going to be serving it with Parmesan cheese. We have two awesome salads, the Moroccan carrot salad and the rocket and cranberry salad. And to finish off, a lovely baked fruity apple with cashew cream. Now if you want to make meals in a very short time, you've got to be organised. They don't happen by accident. So we're starting here with a clear workspace, good chopping board, sharp knife. We've got all our ingredients out that we're going to need, pots on the stove, and we've got the oven preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 200 degrees Celsius. And we've got water boiled in the jug. So let's get started. So we're going to start at the reverse end of the meal today. We're going to start with the dessert, because that's going to take the longest to cook, these baked fruity apples. So we're going to make up the interior side of the apple, and we're just going to add around about a cup of dried fruit. So I'm just going to do a range of different fruits. So I've got some raisins, we've got some cranberries, dried cranberries, just whatever your favourites are. I've got some golden raisins, so try and go for different coloured options if you can. And also, come on, I don't want to join the party. And we've got some chopped dates. You can also use apricots or other things as well. So there's a whole different range of fruit. I'm just going to add a little bit of water just to kind of give it a little bit of hydration. Mix that around a little bit. And we're going to add some nuts. I'm going to add some almonds, some sliced almonds. They kind of have a really nice crunch to them. So around about probably 1/4 of a cup. And to give it a bit of spice, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And this goes really, cinnamon and apple just go together really well. So I'll put that there. And just going to mix that around. And oh, that cinnamon smells lovely. We don't add any sweetening because there's plenty of sweetness in the dried fruit and also from the baked apple. So just let that sit there for a couple of minutes. And we're going to make some apples. So we want to basically take the core out of here. You can use a core if you want. I'm just going to use a knife today. And you've got to be really careful that you don't end up splitting the apple. So we're going to go through about halfway and just make a little kind of a square thing happening. So go gently. And make sure you don't slide too far. Obviously you're going to need a really nice sharp knife. And so I'm going to basically turn it over and do the same thing from the other side. Now it doesn't matter if it doesn't line up exactly. And just very carefully do that. And if all things have gone well, we should be able to pop out. Oh, we normally want to push out the big end, just like that. Oh, I might just pull that out there and I'll push it through here. How's that? So there's one of them done. And we'll just do that with the other ones as well. So take your time with these. Don't get too fast. They can easily split open. So it's really nice to have baked fruit. Baked fruit is something we don't generally have very often, so it's kind of a nice way to get your fruit. You may want to just go diagonally like this and kind of cut it like that. Then you can kind of pop one end out. And the other end should hopefully pop out like that. Now they all even. Kind of not. If you want to, just kind of trim a bit of the bottom off. If you need to level any apples out. Some apples end up not being perfect. I think we'll just give them a bit more stability. And yep, that's looking good. So we'll just squat this fruit here, just Just going to add also a little bit of ginger as well. So a tablespoon of ginger. You can use fresh ginger. These ginger purees are really nice as well. So this is a really nice fruity, spicy, gingery mix that we can put in here. So in the bottom of this pan, we're going to put some around about just over half a cup of boiling water. And this steam will just kind of help the apple cook a bit in the oven. So just get this lovely mixture and stuff it in. Might get a bit messy. Make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom. There's one. Push it down. This ginger and this cinnamon just smells amazing, and it's going to even smell better once it's had a good chance to cook. It's a little bit of work required, but once these are in, they'll be cooking all by themselves. Oops. Going out the bottom there. Lovely. Oops. There we go. So we'll put those in the oven and they'll take around about 20 minutes to cook. This arrabbiata is an Italian pasta and traditionally uses penne pasta and is usually quite a little bit of a spicy dish. There's lots of different versions, but this is my favourite version of it. So we're going to start by putting on the pasta just to get that underway. So we've got some boiled water here. So always save time by boiling your kettle before you start. Save an extra 5 minutes getting things ready. And we're just going to cook the pasta. Now I always use wholemeal pasta. Most pasta comes made of white flour, which as you possibly know is not that good for you. So we've got some really nice wholemeal penne here. So we're going to put in around about 250 grams. Whoops, might be a little bit more, but that's okay. And just cook. Usually it takes around about 9 minutes as a rule of thumb for pasta, but depends on the type of pasta you're having. So just follow the packet directions. So this guy here is warming up nicely. And we're going to start with a base of onions and garlic, which is a lovely base for any kind of tomato-y, Italian-y sauce. So we want to have the onions reasonably fine. So just chop the onion in half and slice it like this. This is my favourite quick way of chopping onions. In fact, when we hire staff for the kitchen at my cafes, we have I'm a big believer in hiring people who have the right talent. So we want to make sure we hire people who are kind of fast with a knife in the kitchen. And we have an onion peeling test. So they basically have to peel a big bag of onions in under, I think it's 20 minutes. And then they have to peel some pumpkins, and I think they have to chop some carrots as well. So there's all these tasks we give them just to see whether someone has that natural, fast kitchen hand kind of talent. And if they do, we hire them and they join our team. And if they don't, they might be better suited to perhaps working out the front with customers. So it's a really good way of making sure you've got people who've got that natural talent. But in the home, it's not so critical. You may be a fast or a slow cook. It's not so critical there. So the main thing about cooking is that you enjoy it and you love the result of it at the end. So one nicely diced onion. Going to add some garlic, which is essential to any kind of pasta sauce. So we want 4 large cloves. I've kind of got 6 little cloves. Just going to put these in the garlic press. Yep. He wants to jump in before he's pressed. I'm just going to push it through. Got skin and all. Like that. There we go. And instantly you can smell that lovely kind of garlicky, oniony flavour, which is going to be an awesome base for the pasta. That's a great start there. So we're going to start adding some more vegetables. And one really nice vegetable for any pasta sauce is bell pepper or capsicum. And this kind of mingles up and has a really nice taste with the tomato. So I'll get rid of all the seeds and the interior bits. And we're just going to, again, reasonably finely diced. We want this to kind of mingle in to be part of the sauce rather to be a kind of a feature displayed ingredient. So we're going to chop it small. But if we wanted big chunks of redness in something, we'd leave it big. So it kind of depends on how big you cut something as to whether you're kind of displaying it or whether it wants to just disappear and become part of the background flavours. So yeah, so the work of making any dish taste great is usually all the stuff you put in at the beginning, all the background hum of flavours and the garlic and the onion and the peppers. And we're going to use some courgettes. And again, we're going to chop these relatively small. Well, these are called zucchini as well. They're called courgettes in New Zealand, and I think in the US they call them zucchini. So again, we're just going to chop them into long strips. And it's really good to, when you're cooking fast, to economise on your cutting. So make lots of long strips. And then we're going to slice them through like this. And again, when you're slicing, you want a nice sharp knife, and we're slicing through the vegetable. We're not pushing down because that's harder and more out of control. But when you're slicing, you've got full control and you let the blade do the work. How quick is that? Might just turn that up a bit. Throw that in. And next ingredient is aubergine or eggplant. So we're just going to chop this again finely. Traditionally this is possibly not in a pasta sauce, but I think it gives a really nice kind of soft, mushy kind of texture to these kind of tomato dishes. So I quite like eggplant or aubergine when it's in season. So again, we're putting it into slices, and then we're going to cut it down that way. And if a bit there's a few big bits in there, it's not the end of the world. We're going for speed over necessary exact size of vegetable. And the same with this half here. Now this may look like a lot of vegetable, but this one in particular actually will compress down to probably a sixth of its size, so there won't actually be a large quantity once that's all cooked. Into the pan. It's going everywhere. And also when you're shopping for vegetables, make sure things are in season. Things like eggplant can be relatively inexpensive through the summer, but in the winter months when it has to be imported, it can be more expensive. So what we do at the cafes is every week I get a report from my veggie marketplace that shows what vegetables are in season. And the ones that are in season are generally fresher, usually more local, usually more inexpensive, and higher quality. So kind of shop around with the seasons. If something's expensive, just try another vegetable. There's always something that's in season. But it can be difficult in the middle of winter to get fresh stuff. So we'll let those guys mingle around. The pasta's boiling, which is good. I think there's a couple of minutes left of that. And we've made a cracking start to our lovely pasta and salad combo meal. If you've just joined us on Cook 30 today, we are whipping up our pasta and salad combo. We have arrabbiata, which is an Italian penne pasta, sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. We have a Moroccan carrot salad and a rocket and cranberry salad. And to finish off, a lovely baked fruity apple with cashew cream. So here's two really easy salads that you'll love. And salads don't have to be complicated. All you have to do is think fresh, think different colours, and you're pretty much there. So I'm going to I've got a lovely lettuce here which you may not have used, which is called rocket or arugula, depending on what country you're in. And it's the baby version, and it's got a really nice, fresh, mild, peppery taste, and it's just beautiful for salads. Now, any kind of salad that comes in a box like this is often looking a little bit dry, so just sprinkle a few bits of water on it. Just like that, just a few drops, just to give it a little bit extra life. And look at that, it's just kind of suddenly, bing, just become alive. So we're just going to layer probably around about 3 or 4 cups on the dish. Just get out any yellow bits that might have jumped in. There we go. And we're just going to throw some lovely ingredients on top. So we've got some dried cranberries. I've got some walnuts, go really well with these guys. And I'm going to make a lovely little dressing, just with just a little dash of olive oil and some honey. We don't need much at all. Just a little bit of honey and some lemon juice, just to give it a bit of bite. I'm just going to squeeze that through my fingers to get the pips. And we're just going to stir that around. Perhaps a little touch of salt. Give it another stir. So just making a simple dressing like this can just revolutionise a salad. You don't have to use all those store-bought ones. Just sprinkle over like that, just enough to give it a little bit of extra zing. I've got these lovely toasted sesame seeds on top, just like that. And that's just a really simple, lovely fresh salad. It takes a couple of minutes to make and goes really well with many meals. Okay, salad number 2 is this Moroccan carrot salad. So I've got some carrots, and these are reasonably okay. I'm not going to peel them. You don't have to peel your vegetables all the time if they're in reasonable condition. I'm going to chop all the ends off that we don't want. And we're going to use the food processor to grate these. You can use a hand grater, but basically this is your food processor box that came with it will have all these grating blades and slicing blades. So use the coarse grating one, and all we have to do is turn it on and put the carrots through, and they will become, in a few seconds, ready grated to use in the salad. A really great time-saving way of making salad. A couple of seconds. Oh, there's a few that invariably don't make it, but we'll use them another day. And we're just going to make it on this platter here. It's quite nice to vary your dishes, so we've got kind of like an oblong dish, and this is just like a nice flat plate. So salads often look good on white, so make sure you stock your kind of kitchen with some nice white crockery. Other colours can look good as well, like wood, but just a good range of dishes can really help with the presentation. And we're going to make a dressing for this as well. So I'm going to use some coconut yogurt. You can use any kind of good plant-based yogurt that you've got, so around about a cup. I'm just going to add some colours and flavours. I'm going to add just about a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. Oh, we'll get the little bit of carrot out of there. Not that it probably matters. And we're going to add some lemon juice. Just make a nice creamy yogurt dressing. So you can get some really nice plant-based yogurts these days. You could also use a cashew cream or something like that if you wanted to make one up. Dash of honey. And we're going to add some turmeric, which will give it a nice yellow colour. So around about a quarter of a teaspoon. And some cumin. And these are kind of the two flavours that make it, Moroccan. So probably around about a teaspoon of cumin. And then we're just going to stir it together. And this will become a lovely dressing that will mingle with the carrot. Just keep stirring. We'll get there in the end. There we go, so it's nice and creamy, so I'll pour it over the top. Now reserve a little bit at the end that you can kind of drizzle over before you serve. Just kind of mingle that all through together. Oh, I've forgotten the other magic ingredient before I spend too much time mixing, and that is cilantro or coriander. So I store my herbs in the fridge in wet paper towels. It's the best way of keeping them nice and fresh. So we're going to slice this up. Now, the first 2 slices are going to be really nice for the garnish. So we're going to put that aside, and then we're going to chop this. And we've got probably about a cup or more of cilantro. And as you get closer to the base, you can use the stalks, but just start chopping a little bit more finely. And the bottom end of the stalks are not normally usable. We're just going to mix that through here as well. And these cilantro or coriander and carrot go together really nicely, along with these lovely Moroccan flavours. And to save dishes, we're just mixing it on the dish we're going to serve it. Makes it nice and rustic. you go, just like that. And just to finish, garnishing is always very important, so just save some dressing, just kind of drizzle along, so we've got dressing kind of through the salad and also drizzled on top, and a little bit of extra on top like that. And that is all ready for the table. Now, how are these guys going? Looks like the pasta's ready. So with the pasta, just kind of, you want to, whoops, I might use a spoon. Don't want to burn my fingers. So what you want to do is just check, I've already turned this down, that it's kind of al dente. So it's firm, which means firm to the bite, so it's chewable, it's staying together, but it's still kind of soft, so it's kind of that pastry. And you've also just going to drain it through a colander, just to stop it cooking. So I'll just leave this here, turn the gas off, and we'll come back to that later so it doesn't overcook. And this guy here is looking wonderful. Look at how those vegetables are reduced down to probably under half their original size. I'll just move this out of the way so you can see what's going on there. And yep, that's all ready for the next ingredients. So we're going to add some tomatoes. Just normal canned tomatoes are fine. Just going to open these cans of tomatoes. You can use fresh tomatoes if you want, but canned tomatoes are so easily available. Make sure you have your pantry full of them. They're a great ingredient. I'm going to pour this through 2 cans. I'm going to add some honey. Tomatoes need a little bit of sweetening because they're kind of on the bitter side, so about 2 tablespoons of honey. You can use date puree or other healthy sweetener. The thing that makes this particular salad, kind of the name it is, it's got a little bit of spice. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon of chilli paste. You could use fresh chilies if you wanted. If you don't like hot stuff, just leave it out. And also going to add some tomato paste, just to give it a bit of extra whoops, extra bit of thickness. So we'll just fire some of that, probably around about 2 tablespoons, or 2 good tablespoons in there. And this will mix up and become really nice. Oh, salt, better put in about half to a teaspoon of salt. May want to adjust that later. And that's pretty much this all finished. Okay, we need something really nice to put on these baked apples. So I'm going to make just a lovely, simple cashew cream. So you want 1 cup of cashew nuts and 1 cup of water, and we're just going to blend it, just like this. Only take a couple of seconds. If you've got a low power blender, you might want to soak the cashew nuts overnight, make it softer and easier on your blender. Just check the consistency. That one there is a little bit runny, so I'm actually going to add a few more cashews just to thicken it up. Every time you make this recipe, you kind of have to adjust it to get the consistency you want. So it's hard to give you an exact recipe. So be prepared to be flexible with this one. Meanwhile, I'll get the apples out of the oven. Oh, look at this. They're looking really nice. So we'll just get those out and put them in a dish. I'm multitasking here, and as you can see, they're just lovely and soft. So be very gentle with them, they can break apart. And we're just going to put them on this tray. Ow! And they're hot. Whoop. Just like that. They're just full of lovely, sweet goodness. Try not to burn myself on the handle. And this cashew cream, I think, should be finished now. So we're just going to pour it in there and have that on the side. That's going to be lovely. So we're just going to finish the finishing touches on the pasta. So I'm going to put some baby spinach in. Could use spinach, frozen spinach as well. Just going to stir through some of that. That'll kind of reduce down. And then we're going to stir through some of this pasta. So we'll put all that, won't need all of this actually, so we'll stir through most of that. And we're going to end up garnishing it at the end with some lovely olives and some Italian parsley. So this will just take a couple of minutes just to reduce down through the break. And I think everything is now done and ready to go to the table. And this is a really lovely Italian pasta dish, so make sure you try it at home. And don't forget to put a little bit of a garnish or something green on top. Makes every dish look fantastic. And these two salads, you saw how quick they were to make. It is not hard to add fresh, beautiful stuff to your table, so try some of these out. You will not believe how easy and quick they are. Just absolutely lovely. And I can encourage you to use lots more whole foods and this type of ingredients in your diet. You'll look and feel fantastic, have more energy and vitality, and you'll probably live 10 or 20 years longer as well. Thank you for joining me today on Cook 30, and I look forward to seeing you next time.